Hello, how is everybody? Sorry about that. We were coming up to the end of the live, and before the live was to cut me off, I thought I would just cut it a little bit short before we got into the next question, which I feel would have been a really lovely long one. So I'm just going to wait for the lovely wiccarts to join back in, and then we will get back to his answer. I'm just going to quickly send him a message to let him know that I am live again. I hope everybody has been enjoying this live. Oh, are we going to go live from your actual personal profile this? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. I'm going to add you through now. You are now being invited live, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Hello, sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure that when we got into your question, the live wasn't going to cut us off because we were coming into almost 5 to 10 minutes before the end of the stream because Instagram only gives us an hour, which frustrating, but I'm learning to work with it. So as I was asking you before, what is it like? Obviously, we're talking about your craft, how you manifest your craft and your magic and your working and that. What is it like in your community being in a highly Christian country as well?
Fortunately, I did not grow in a Christian household. My parents were, in their version, open-minded.
Yep.
They were still traditional, but they were part of a group that they call themselves not a religion, but a group of spiritual people. And it makes
So kind
a
of like
lot of.
hippies?
I wish they were much more hippie. No, it was more like Buddhist monk. There were a lot of Eastern philosophies conjoined, so Buddhist, Taoism,
That would have been
they
a
were.
very refreshing household to grow up in because I did grow up in a very strongly religious household, being very Catholic and Lutheran raised. It was very, very limiting. I had a very, very rough childhood.
I had my struggles with that too, but I have to be grateful that my parents, because of that group, they supported me when I wanted to be vegetarian, which I did at a very young age. Because as soon as I grew the teeth, they were trying to give me meat, and I, as a baby, puked it out. So they learned about vegetarianism, and I was able to be vegetarian
I am
because of
so
that.
jealous. I was not allowed to be vegetarian growing up.
I'm sorry. um, I lose the thought. So they were a different group, but they had their traditional ways of thinking, a very Buddhist monk kind of way, because they had like this temple in their households, and their temples were like had this family that they were the family, the garden family of the temple. And it's usually a family thing, and my parents ended up making a temple, and they,
Is
as I
that like
say
like a
earlier,
Wiccan altar sort of situation?
I don't think it was like a cult. It was. I really didn't look at them. They didn't teach anything harmful. They were
Yeah.
just they had a problem with ego. I would say they believed that they were like the representative of the truth in the planet Earth. So they had a lot of those. They had some couple of toxic belief systems.
Yeah.
And one of them was that my parents had like this, my life and the life of my sister all planned out. We were going to become their successors and that kind of stuff. And I enjoy because I actually was introduced to a lot of ritualistic practices with that group, and I actually enjoyed that part. But they were. It was very stressful to like had this the feeling of that your whole life was planned.
The pressure,
Um,
the pressure that's put on top of you to live a certain way. I understand that because everything I do in my culture, my religion, I do a woman's job. I'm not meant to do what I do. I'm not meant to make jewelry. I'm not meant to read cards. I'm not meant to sit there and help people learn spirituality. It is not my place.
exactly that. The Buddhist part was nice, but they also had a lot of sexist and machismo. We call it in Spanish the patriarchy theme.
Very patriarchal, yeah.
Very patriarchal, and I struggled a lot with that, and I was a people pleaser. I was obsessed with being perfect, and I was the golden child for a long time until I have to come out to my parents as gay, and then
How
my
did that
sister
go?
not good.
It
it could
didn't go
have been
very well
worse.
for me either. I was on the street.
Wow, I'm so sorry. My parents did not
Don't
do that.
apologize. It taught me many, many very valuable life lessons that I've been able to help incorporate into so many people's paths and lives and help them understand that, well, being gay is nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. I had a long way to make peace with that because I was taught to believe that that was wrong until I realized that if it doesn't do harm, it can be, does
Exactly.
not make any sense. You have to deconstruct that part of yourself. So I came out as gay, and then my sister came out as trans. So the vision of my parents basically fall apart.
They
Um,
probably would have felt like they failed.
Yes, they probably they might think that as well, but with the quarantine here in Venezuela, there were a time when all the young people went out to other countries. It was like an exodus, and we decided to stay. And the fact that we stayed, that meant a lot for my parents. And when I started to be, when I became the provider, they have to make peace with the idea that the time passed and now it's my
Mhm.
turn, and they have to play along. So I received the first punch to opening that crack on my parents' world, and then my sister broke the fucking wall, and that's when I get to experiment with having long hair and that kind of stuff because of my sister.
So
So
you're
we're
not
gonna.
allowed. Wow, that thing seems a little strict. See, that wasn't how I was raised, but you couldn't have your hair long? That
No,
surprises me.
because it was very monk life, because they had a the religion didn't enforce it, but it was advisable that you need to
Yeah.
have short hair and dressed in a proper way, that kind of stuff. So I didn't have the teenager rebellious phase where I could experiment. I'm doing that right now. I'm experimenting with my image. Now I'm at my 27 years old.
I'm same age as me. Actually, no, I'm 28. I had
Well,
that
yeah.
when I was 14. So when I was like out of the house very young, I was able to go, I don't know who I am. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, so it was a lot, but going to the nice part of it, the fact that this group practice ritualistic things, like is the way when I started doing magic. My mom was kind of, "Hi, Oriana, ¿cómo está? Saludos." That's one of my friends.
Hi. Oh, it's so good that your friends are connecting. I love being able to connect with communities in yours and mine. And this is like why I do this, because we get to expand our connections. And anybody who's watching from my end, please follow.
Oh, where was I? My mom was kind of supportive, and she understood that she always knew that I have certain gifts,
Mhm.
I was always I always fantasized with communing with nature spirits and that kind of stuff. And so she knew that I have the ability to connect with certain aspect of that other world.
Mhm.
So she was kind of supportive. So that wasn't the rough part. The rough part was sexuality. Sexual that.
Yep.
Um, so when I started going out as a weekend, it was fun. It was a very fun time because most people here in try to keep the witchy thing hidden
Mhm.
because of the Christian majority and because the most dominant spiritual or witchcraft practice here in this area is Santeria. And
What is that?
Santeria is something like voodoo, but from for
Yeah,
this side
very,
of
very familiar with those practices myself.
something African based. But the Christian majority demonize it as something of devil worship and that kind of
It's
stuff. Something
so
pretty,
not though. Like, yes, it
and it's
seems like that. That's why we were saying blood, gore, and bones and stuff. That's normal because you know what? That is life. That is death.
that was the only part that did it made me stay kind of away from that because I didn't like blood nor animal sacrifices because I was vegetarian.
Mhm.
But that was what people knew about here. So when I was saying, "Hey, I'm Wiccan," that means this. You can Google that. I was like, I knew a couple of Wiccans here in my city, and they always had the same reaction. I thought I was the only one here practicing that because most people kept that in secret. And I
Mhm.
took the job of going out and explaining to other people that other religions exist, there are other gods, and that kind of stuff. And that was nice. I used my
That would have also given you some adversity. Like people, oh, I love that one. That would have given you some adversity because people would have been like, oh, no, 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 no.
I did not have that experience. I think I didn't have any negative
You are so lucky.
stuff.
Here in Australia, it's the Bible. It's just the Bible. People
And
will literally go on the streets, and if they see this, they'll be like, oh, God needs to save you.
I had a lot of Christian friends in college, and they were very respectful. I had like a couple ones that say, "No, I really don't like that," but blah, 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 but then they never try to
I think it might be
evangelize me.
because I live in what's known as the city of churches. So Adelaide is a very, very religious churchy city, and every suburb has easily 5 to 6 churches.
That
There
might be a
are a
thing.
lot of churches.
So the other thing might be that, and that's totally my ego talking, but
Hmm.
I think that I had like the ability to avoid conflict, or I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain it, but people usually don't want to fight with me. I don't know if I have like a friendly face or something like that, but
You do have a
even with
very,
people,
very friendly persona and energy. You've got a very big smile. You're very happy.
yeah, something like that. And so even people when they come full frontal, when I get when they are mad at something, and they see me, they lower their mood. I don't know why it happens, but they lower their mood, and I am able to befriend them
Yeah.
somehow.
Well, that's a brilliant thing, brilliant ability to have, and that's a lot of empathy, being able to understand where people are coming from, being able to understand why they're angry, and that's what a lot of this religion teaches. That's what a lot of spirituality teaches. It teaches, I believe, understanding And you being very nature-based, very much like myself, you can incorporate aspects of nature, you can incorporate aspects of like the pack of the wolves or the flock of the birds and how they interact with each other, and just learn to love and talk and communicate effectively.
Something like that, yes. It was very smoothly. It was fun. It was fun, I have to say.
I have another question for that as well. So going on with the fact that you have a high Christian community, you've got a high, as you're saying now, and I wasn't aware of this, like voodoo sort of impact. Going back to a question that I did similarly ask earlier, but your art and your style, do you get much business in your home country, or are you like me, where most of my business is actually international because a lot of Australians do not like what I do?
Exactly that. I actually, one of my biggest regrets is not starting this sooner, because I have my graphic tablet for a long time. And my friend that I mentioned from college, who encouraged me to try colors, she told me, like, you could sell your drawings on Etsy and people will buy them. And I was like, people don't buy drawings, because here, of course, people have a lot of problems. They are always thinking about survival, about food, that kind of stuff. So art doesn't really have any value. So when I learned that I could give it value elsewhere, that was a life changer. So basically, all my clients are
here in Australia. Art has value, but the sort of work that I do spiritually does not, because Australians are not very spiritual. They're very, very, unfortunately, and there are a lot of people out there that are very, very open-minded, but my general consensus from what I've been met with in the community, especially when I go to market and stuff like that, they don't like the cards. They don't like the spirituality. They'll happily buy my jewelry and they'll happily buy my staffs or my broomsticks, but they're not going to buy anything else, because they're like, well, I don't believe in that. I don't support that. You should burn it.
Sorry.
And they also do not like to pay for readings, because they're like, oh, but you're just reading the cards. That should cost $5. And I'm like, no, actually.
That's not everything. Not everyone understand that kind of. I don't know, that the effort of learning and practicing.
And the energy that goes into it as well. And when you're sitting there talking to your clients, I don't know if you actually professionally do readings with your tarot cards like I do, but when you're sitting there, you're almost like an unofficial counselor. Sometimes you're letting the cards show them logic. Sometimes you're letting the cards show them spiritual messages. Sometimes you're just reading the cards for what they are, because it's what they need to hear. Or sometimes you're incorporating what you already know from their stories and their lives to help them come to more understanding. You're like an unofficial counselor, and it is exhausting.
It is exhausting. It is. I don't professionally do readings. My co-creator, he does work professionally doing readings, but the act of connecting with people and trying to like capture their essence is kind of divinatory in nature.
It is. It's very, very, very divinatory in nature, and it's very, very exhausting. So another question now I've got for you is, what's on the cards for the future? What are your plans? Are you open for commissions? Like, explain.
I am always open for commissions, except when I explicitly say that I have closed them, because normally at the end of the year I kind of take some vacations. But right now I'm pretty available. I need it. I need to make money, please.
Please, everybody, commission away. I wish I could, but unfortunately, I need money too.
Yes, I'm on that exact place right now, where I wish I could support other artist friends and buy a piece of jewelry, but I'm also in need, so. It's
exactly,
tricky.
which is why I'm going to my artist shop with my jewelry this afternoon to drop some more pieces off. I've got 7 pieces that are online now, so fingers crossed they sell quickly so I can make some more.
Amen. So right now I have the tarot deck on a print-on-demand website. We put it there just for now, because my co-creator have some friends who could help us do a Kickstarter or something like that to print them massively and then reselling them. But I believe those friends have like some personal situations on their life and cannot work with us in this moment. I went with the printing company because I have been working for 2 years from the first original concept to this, and so I wanted to have a tarot deck in my hands. I
Show
went
us
with
some
that.
more of those beautiful cards while you're talking as well.
So I don't know how to show you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take some cards and just show them like this because I basically wanted to have my cards on hand, and there were some friends who wanted to have this prototype of my deck. So I was able to put them on the store of this printing company, and we are making a couple of sales to save some money for a print deck for my friend.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Is that the tower?
The tower, yes.
Wow, I love that.
It's pretty dope. And I lose a thought. Well, my goal is to be able to sell things like this, like my tarot decks. I could do more tarot decks. I could do merch someday.
You should definitely do some jumpers.
Basically, to have to not be dependent from commissions, because it's not every day that someone can allow themselves to commission me. So my idea is to be able to have something else to support myself.
Yeah, that is exactly why I do this, because I have all of these beautiful crystals, because these crystals here help pay my bills.
Pretty.
Oh, I should turn the camera around and see the jewelry box. So this, currently, you are sitting in my jewelry box. And it's just full of crystals.
I love crystals.
These are my raw pieces. So I've actually gathered a lot of these around Australia. So this one here is actually black amethyst. And I got this from Queensland while I was backpacking and fossicking. And I can't wait to turn these into jewelry pieces. So this is how I support myself outside of commissions. Because if I didn't have this and I wasn't putting these up, I wouldn't be able to make any money to buy more or put some back.
I love that one.
So this here is actually just quartz. It's very simple, very basic.
Quartz is my favorite. I'm very basic.
And then we've got so many crystals. Diesel, come here. Oh. Sorry, my dog is just being a dog.
Aw, pretty.
Say hello to everybody. And then we've got some beautiful pieces of jasper. We've got some yellow jade in here. And oh my God, this is a piece that I want to work on today. This is an absolutely gorgeous piece of Amazonite, which I believe is actually native to your country, that's found in where you live.
Amazonite sounds like the Amazon rainforest that is in my country, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like it's found in the regions of like where you are. So this here is actually a stone from where you live.
Well, that there is a piece of me, of my.
There is a piece of you right here in my toolbox.
So awesome.
I travel with that everywhere because I require that, just like you do, to be able to make money outside of commissions. And if that's your goal, I am so happy that you're trying to strive for that.
Yeah, that's my goal.
That toolbox is actually about $400 worth of crystals.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
That is a beautiful magician card.
Yeah. So well, that's what I try to do. Those are my goals. We're trying slowly, but I
Yep.
do
And
believe
I have
we'll
one
get there.
last question for you, and we'll leave it at that. How
Sounds
is
great.
it working in your country with poor internet quality? Like how does that impact you financially and as a business?
There were a lot of times that I was paralyzed completely, especially when I had high demand, that I was
Mhm.
speaking to people every single day. And sometimes the internet connection went off for days and I was completely paralyzed. It was very stressing. Um, the internet was like the least of my problems because the other services are far worse. But
Other
usually when I
services as in like phone services?
water supply, we had
Oh,
we had a season where they send water through the pipes once every 3 months. So you have to
you
have
almost live
like
like I do in the woods, except
eh,
you're in a house.
it was a kind of surviving like that. Fortunately, we had a big how do you say, water tank, but
Yep.
subterranean. But that water tank only helps you for 1 month, and you basically have to buy more water, and water was so expensive. So
That's
it's like,
exactly what I have to do. I have to bring in 1,000 liters on a trailer every time, 26 kilometers when my tanks go empty, and I can only bring it in 1,000 liters at a time.
yeah, that honestly, that's the worst part for me, the water thing. Fortunately, now we have water like once a month, maybe less time than that, and we're able to manage that. And going back with the internet connection, I remember I told you, when we were planning that
Hmm.
about the live, I was going to tell you I could have internet one day, and then the power went off in the city, and I was incommunicated. But a like a optic fiber internet company
Yep.
came here to our local
Junction.
neighborhood, and they worked for months to put the like the cables. But I honestly, at that time, I was not sure that I was going to have the internet connection of that company for our life. But fortunately, they were able to put it, and now I have good internet, and it's
You
the
actually
best
have
thing ever.
incredibly clear internet. This is probably the clearest internet I've ever had myself as well. Like this is probably, I think, my best, clearest live ever between both you and me because I was so worried that we weren't going to be able to go live, and that's actually why I'm asking this question because internet has been such a struggle for you, and it is such a struggle for me because I get those
Mhm.
moments too. And you've probably watched a few of my lives or just seen a couple of my things. And apparently, according to people, I'm just squares. I'm just squares on a screen talking.
Yeah, I remember every time I tried to do like a video call.
Yep.
Yeah, video call. Yeah, I was squares, and there was delay. So I basically said no to every video call everyone wanted to make, and usually people from the first world, other countries, they prefer to do video call instead of chatting. But here we chat all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
through voice notes
Yep.
or just text because the internet is shitty. But now through this,
Touch wood. Touch wood.
I remove a barrier of I cannot do internet lives or video calls because now I can. I know now that it's possible for me. So that's
And
great.
it's going to be so good for you as a business as well now, because you can actually now go live for yourself. Now that you know that this works, going live with me, you can actually go live. You can start talking to your clients. You can start showcasing your artwork, because I'm actually going to be doing that very soon myself. Once I make a whole bunch of jewelry, because tomorrow I'm going to be going down to the river and I'm going to be collecting a whole bunch of grass, and I'm going to be making besoms or broomsticks. And when I make all of them with all the staffs that I've got at home and the jewelry pieces, I'm actually going to be, for the first time, probably in a month's time, doing my first live Instagram sale. And you'll be able to do
Oh
that yourself
my
too.
God. That's wonderful. I have no idea how could I do a live like a live sale, but best of lucks for you.
I have no idea how I'm going to do it either. I think it's going to be like hi, I have this available. If you want it, let me know, and I'm going to put it aside with your name on it. Bam. Hi, I've got this available.
That should work.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed
Fingers
in
crossed.
theory. But with that, thank you so much for sharing space with me. It's been absolutely incredible having you live with me on my Instagram. If there's anything you want to ask me before I go, feel free to ask me. If not, I'm going to end this and going to message you over Instagram. We can keep catching up there, but it's been incredible to share space.
I just want to say thank you because you were like persistent with the idea for me, because as I said, with the theme of the barrier language, my own insecurities and the internet, I always say no to like these kind of things. So now I have like a little more courage to do this kind of things. So I wanted to thank you for
I am
that.
so glad. And that's the best thing about these couch talks, is because this is real life. Internet problems happen. Things happen. Like, I'll be going live with an amazing, amazing person. And obviously I'll share details of that live coming up after this live. And we might be going live in our PJs, because her story is very much my story. Because she's being divorced, she's having a lot of marital issues, and she's also a nurse. She works in Las Vegas, and she's recently, a couple of times, and I don't even know how this is possible, but knowing the American healthcare system, I'm not surprised. She's contracted scabies a few times, and we're going to be talking about that and how that's impacted her work. So it's all about real life. You can't say something properly, then say it in your native tongue, and we will put a translation in afterwards. All of this is life. Life happens.
Well, thank you so much for that. I think we did great.
I think we
My
did
biggest
absolutely
issue
great.
was like my pronunciation can be, my accent can be like kind of thick.
In
But I
fact,
think
your
we
accent is
communicated.
actually not as thick as you believe it is. Maybe I'm very multilingual and I'm used to having a lot of foreign clients and a lot of foreign friends. But to me, you've got very, very clear pronunciations, and you speak English phenomenally well.
Thank you. And actually, your the way you talk is like a very articulated, so it helps me understand. Sometimes people talk, and I can understand them, but I'm more comfortable reading them, because
Yeah.
that way I cannot like misinterpret the things they say. But
I
the
think
way
that
you
happens
talk
with us
is
being
very
multilingual, because both of us speak multiple languages. So when we think about the words that we're saying, we think about how we need to pronounce them, which
correct.
is
Yeah.
quite the benefit.
Mm.
But
So
yeah,
well,
with that, it was
thank you so
lovely
much.
sharing space with you. I'm going to go get myself some lunch ready. I'm going to plan the rest of my afternoon. I have to take some jewelry to my auntie's shop and get it all on eBay. And we will touch base soon. Ciao for
I,
now.
I have to run too. Thank you so much.
All right,
Bye.
you're very welcome. Bye.